Hi everyone, welcome to week 7 of Management 650. This is Helen, and I'm going to show you how to solve a problem that will help you solve homework problem 6. Now homework problem 6 shows us how to determine whether creating a confidence interval for the proportion is an appropriate way to analyze our data sample. Now this week we're studying confidence intervals for the proportion. However, these assumptions and their corresponding conditions also apply to confidence intervals for the means. We will be studying confidence intervals for the means in a few weeks. For a confidence interval to be an appropriate metric, it must meet certain assumptions and conditions. These assumptions and conditions are examined prior to calculating the confidence interval. So first, we gather our data sample, and then we see if this data sample complies with the assumptions and conditions that we're going to discuss. So just as a review, the confidence interval is built on the normal model for the sampling distribution. We'll make certain assumptions about our data sample and how representative our data is to the population. We may not know if our assumptions are true, but there must be some logic and reasoning behind our assumptions. If our assumptions are not true, then the normal model may be inappropriate and our conclusions may be incorrect. Okay, so let's take a look at our question. A consumer group hoping to assess customer experiences with realtors surveys 192 people who recently bought new homes. 8% of these people expressed dissatisfaction with the realtor. So we're going to identify the population and the sample, explain what P and P hat represent, and tell whether a confidence interval for a proportion can be used. So first, we'll identify the population. The population is all customers who recently bought new homes. Next, we'll identify the sample. The sample is the 192 people who were surveyed. Now we'll explain what P is. P is the true proportion for the population of all customers who recently bought new homes. And finally, we'll explain what P hat is. P hat is the sample proportion. It's the proportion of customers surveyed who express dissatisfaction with their realtors. Now let's take a look at our assumptions and conditions. Our first assumption is our independence assumption. This deals with the relationship of the data, whether data values somehow affect each other or whether the data are related. We look at our randomization condition under our independence assumption, and our randomization condition requires that our data be randomly generated. And in this problem, we have no reason to think that the sample was not randomly generated. Another condition which falls under our independence assumption is that our data sample is less than 10% of our population. And we find that it is safe to assume that 192 people represent fewer than 10% of the entire population of customers who recently purchased new homes. Next, we look at our sample size assumption. The sample size must be large enough for the sample to be appropriate. Our success and failure condition requires that the data sample must contain at least 10 successes and 10 failures. Now our success in this problem is what we are finding for. So our dissatisfied customers are our success factor. So in order to find the number of customers who were dissatisfied, We multiply 8% or 0.08 times 192 to get 15. So our successes qualify. And then we look at our percentage of satisfied customers. Those are our failures. And our failures we calculate by subtracting 15 from 192 to get 177. So both our successes and our failures qualify. Q hat represent our failures, P hat represent our successes. So our success and failure condition is met. So we see that our assumptions and our conditions have now been met, and we can proceed to calculate our confidence interval for the proportion. If you have any questions at all about this question or any of your homework questions, please feel free to reach out to your tutors and your professors. We are here to help you.